This is your captain speaking, and I hope you're all doing fantastic. Thanks for coming and checking out my channel. If you're new, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button if you like what you see here, and please hit that like button. It really helps me out. And so, yes, I hope you checked out the previous video where I gave a kind of overview of this amazing next few months of morning sky beauty and sacred astronomy and amazing astrology. And by amazing astrology, I mean a once in 13-year Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, and it's going to be activated throughout the next few months as the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all go across the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction and combine with it and bring out its special gifts, its healing waters, its rich, expansive visions, and kind of greater ease of opening to expanded states of consciousness where you get a kind of positive view of things and you kind of catch a glimpse of positive timelines that you can be pulled onto, and you can set your intentions to travel. And so, yes, I hope you got to see that last video. In this video, we're going to go into a little more detail. I'm going to cover some dates. And so get out your notebooks, get out your calendars, write these dates down. And it's basically once or twice a month. Last time I encouraged you to kind of set the intention to be willing to get up an hour and a half before the sunrise once a month. If you do that for the next 6 months, your life's going to change. It's going to change, I guarantee it, because you're going to feel the gifts of the morning sky and the medicine of the morning sky and the meditations of the morning sky and the joys of the morning sky. I'm all about the joy of astrology, the way of practicing astrology that brings you more joy in your life and where you learn to enjoy your life more. I think if we wake up early once a month over the next 6 months, we will be enjoying our lives more than if we had not done that once a month. And so I hope you will choose some of these dates. Check the weather, don't go out if it's super, not such good weather if you don't feel like it. Sometimes you might go out, but it's like you set the intention to be available if the weather looks good enough to get out there and look at these amazing alignments that we're going to have over these next few months. So, okay, let's get to it. Let me check my notes. As I go here, I'm going to have the chart up. And it's not necessary, of course, for you to understand this chart. And it's also going to be kind of small on the screen, but I want to at least have it there so those of you who are able to read these glyphs can just be able to see it. But for the rest of you, I'll certainly be just describing what's here and naming the dates. And so this is the chart for right now. You can see the moon is 3 degrees on one side to Mars and just 5 degrees from Venus. And we've got a tight Mercury-Pluto conjunction right now. That energy has a lot to do with kind of finding your voice and speaking your words of power. Finding your voice and speaking your words of power. Powerfully communicating that which needs to be communicated. I think that's some of what Mercury-Pluto is all about. And we've been in Mercury retrograde up until, I think it's, the 4th or the 2nd? I think it's the 4th that Mercury goes direct. And so we're close to Mercury retrograde ending. And it's like been this time of kind of rethinking and reviewing and, kind of letting go of ordinary left brain thinking and kind of flowing more into the imaginal realm. And from that place, kind of getting new clarity and new awareness, new ideas, and as we get to the Mercury station here, I feel like there's a kind of natural way, and it's like our ideas are kind of crystallizing, our awareness is kind of coming back together after going down the rabbit hole with Mercury. After that, the last two and a half weeks, I guess it's been, it's like it's starting to become clear, and Mercury-Pluto helps give voice to greater clarity at the end of our Mercury retrograde trip. That's happening. We also have the Sun-Saturn conjunction. And so the Sun-Saturn is activating the larger Saturn square Uranus. So that's a big outer planet alignment. I covered it in a recent video that I think I called Saturn-Uranus, Restructuring and Rebuilding Your Life. Saturn square Uranus 2020, 2021, 2022 has been one of the just ongoing energies we're all dealing with. Has a lot to do with kind of collapse of old structures that were not built solidly, and then a kind of re-engineering more solid structures, building more solid structures after going through a crisis. That's something of this energy. So we're late in this 3-year process, and it's like this is the year where we start to really feel that sense of our lives being rebuilt. I think that's really significant that we're in a kind of rebuilding phase. We're 3 years into a rebuilding phase. And so things are kind of coming together. That bridge that you had to build from the crisis to the future, which is now, is nearing completion. And you can tell it's more solid. It's a more solid structure that you've built for yourself, because you've kind of learned what happens when a big challenging thing comes through your life and you have to pivot and reconsider things and re-engineer things so that you have a more solid structure to stand on and feel secure in. And so this is one of the important activations of the Saturn-Uranus this year, as the Sun, right now it's exactly square Uranus. It's 6 degrees from the conjunction to Saturn. And so, yeah, it's a strong moment in that process. There'll be later this year Sun conjunct Uranus, activating it that way. But this is one of the last big Sun activations of this 3-year transit. So yeah, I could see where next week could be a kind of turning point for a lot of people in a sense of rebuilding their lives, as at the same time we're getting this really positive healing wave of energy, these healing waters of the Jupiter-Neptune in Pisces conjunction coming in, feeling that more and more as you're also feeling the sense of rebuilding starting to really take hold. That strong bridge is now there to travel across towards those happier timelines. Are you feeling this, everybody? Okay, so this is the first Venus gate of the morning season with Mars there. So I need to just say a couple words about the fact that we're entering into a very long conjunction of Venus and Mars. Right now they're within 8 degrees of each other, and over the next week they're basically getting closer and closer, and I think it's within 10 days they will be within 3 degrees of each other. We'll see this as we go forward here. They'll be within 3 degrees of each other, and they stay that close for 45 days. It's a really long Venus-Mars conjunction where they're both totally visible. Venus is going to be at her brightest here in the next few weeks. All of February, Venus is just super bright, and Mars is gaining in brightness. Venus is kind of going away from us now. She'll eventually go on the other side of the sun and be kind of invisible. Well, she'll be totally invisible for a couple of months before she comes back in the evening sky. But right now, she's still super bright before she starts to get further away. And at the same time, Mars is coming back from his journey to the underworld when they were on the other side of the sun. And so, yes, it's a special moment for like kind of reconnecting with Mars. We had this really strong season of Mars in 2020 when Mars was super bright in the sky, and then it faded in brightness in 2021 and totally disappeared for the last 6 months or so, and it's just coming back. And it's so awesome to be able to see Mars's light. And compared to last summer, when there was another Venus-Mars conjunction in the evening sky, when basically Mars was going away from us, going on the other side of the sun, while Venus was coming towards us. That conjunction, Mars was, you could see Mars, especially with binoculars, but it was way fainter. Didn't show up in photos. And so it was a much less visible Mars-Venus conjunction. And I just want to refer to Daniel Giamario's amazing 2 classic articles on Venus and Mars, and he talks about Venus gates in there, and he talks about the unique cycle of Venus-Mars conjunctions, where they sometimes come together in the evening sky, sometimes when they come together, like in 2019, they are behind the sun, they're invisible. And other times they're in the morning. And sometimes they come in the morning twice, sometimes they're in the evening twice, sometimes you get a super long Venus-Mars conjunction that's more visible, like the one that we have. And so it's like, I'll be saying more about this as we go forward, but it's like, it's such a special opportunity to feel in to the dance of Venus and Mars. And what that is, that Mars is coming back from the underworld and his amazing adventures where he was totally alone and had to take strong actions independently. Mars is coming back. His light is growing, and Venus is like, whoa, it's Mars again. It's so amazing to see Mars. And there's a sense of joy with them coming together, and that dance of yin and yang, and that sense of, real strong attraction energies. And so this is part of a whole sequence of Venus alignments in the coming months, where I think we're all going to be learning a whole lot about love and intimacy. We've been learning a lot about it. I'd love to hear from any of you about what was it like going through that amazing long Venus-Pluto conjunction in December. Talked about that in my last video, but it's like, initiation into really profound, deep intimacy, and maybe a journey to the underworld a little bit. But then it's like, now we have this kind of Venus-Mars initiation, which will then combine with Pluto. We're going to have a Venus-Mars-Pluto tight triple conjunction, which will be joined by the moon. That's going to be a super kick-ass quadruple conjunction, and it's just 1 month away, and it's on my list here. So let's get this date right. Let's get the dates right. I mentioned this, February 2nd, 2022. That's 2222 is the first Jupiter gate of 2022 with the moon conjunct Jupiter. And I'll have more to say about what Jupiter gates are as distinct from Venus gates. I'll say one thing right now, that Jupiter gates are an initiation to the whole expanse of the sky. Paying attention to Moon-Jupiter conjunctions throughout the year will tune you into the entire arc of the sky, because the Moon-Jupiter conjunctions each month will happen in different parts of the sky. They'll be visible in different parts of the sky, sometimes directly overhead for half the night. Sometimes there'll be a Moon-Jupiter conjunction at a full moon where you get to see it the whole night. Other times, like right now, there's a Moon-Jupiter conjunction on February 2nd that'll just be visible for like 1 hour. 1 hour out of the whole dark night, you get to see Moon-Jupiter. And this one in the evening sky, I think, is a special opportunity to say farewell to Jupiter in the evening sky, and a certain kind of unique relationship that you can have with Jupiter in the evening sky just after sunset. And so, yes, I'm hoping to get out there. I think it's Tuesday night, and you look to the western horizon just after sunset, so you get to check out the sunset. And even if you don't get to see the sunset, I think it's about an hour. Is that right? I think it's maybe an hour and a half that you can see this Moon-Jupiter conjunction. And I think it's also an important moment for kind of praying for guidance about what's possible this year with this incredibly rare Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. And I don't know if I've said it in the last video, but I'm going to say it now in this video. I think I did say it. That this particular Jupiter-Neptune conjunction has something really special about it, where in April it's going to be in a triple conjunction with Venus, and there hasn't been this tight of a triple conjunction of Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune, and for a couple days with the moon, since 1997. And there isn't another tight quadruple conjunction like this for the rest of this century. And so I feel like this is a once in a century healing, flowing waters transit, where all of humanity gets bathed in angelic waters of healing. Those are the thought forms that I want us to all focus on. All of us amazing sailors on this starship, I think we can share the good word of the healing angelic waters of 2022. That's what we're heading for in April, but every month up to then, the moon will conjoin Jupiter. And this is the first one. Next, is it Tuesday? Yeah, I think it's Tuesday, the 2nd. And that evening is a great one to kind of start to feel into what this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is going to be for you. Let me put it up on the screen. This is a good time to check out the actual chart. Yeah, you can see the Moon-Jupiter conjunction that evening. I'll go a couple hours later. It's like after sunset right here, you'll be able to see the Moon-Jupiter conjunction in the western, close to the western horizon. So that's a Moon-Jupiter conjunction in Pisces that's 14 degrees away from Neptune, which is often when you start to really feel the energy in a very significant way. And so that's kind of the beginning of this wave. Just a few days away is the first big Jupiter gate, the gate that opens onto an incredible vision of warm healing waters and warm breezes that are soothing our weary soul. Yes, I think that's what we're talking about. Starting to open to that. Starting to open to that. And it's a couple of nights, I think. It's the 2nd and the 3rd. The next night, it's conjunct Neptune. Being aware of that is for the more advanced students out there. If you want to go out for 2 nights or 2 mornings, but it's going to really just be 1 morning as Jupiter and Neptune rapidly get closer to each other. So, okay, that's the first Jupiter gate on the 2nd. The next date I have here is the 4th, just to show you that Mercury retrograde will be ending. And you can see that it's in a tight conjunction with Pluto right there, 3 degrees. So it just stations right on Pluto. So this is the time to find your voice, to speak your words of power, to recognize that words have power and they can transform things in a positive direction. Words can be used in a damaging way, Mercury-Pluto has a lot to do with spells, the way you can cast spells with your words, spells upon yourself, spells upon others. And it's like being aware of the difference between light magic and dark magic. Negative thought forms can really shape and impact others and yourself, versus really being aware of positive thought forms and the power of those thought forms to transform your life. That's a really helpful part of the Mercury-Pluto conjunction. And yes, so that's the 4th. The next big date is February 16th. Let's go forward to February 16th. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Why did I do February 16th? Why did I February 16th? Oh, this is the full moon. This is the full moon, basically right here. And it's starting to activate this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. The sun is 12 degrees from Jupiter here, and the moon is opposite the sun. So you're starting to get both sun and moon activations of that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. By the 16th, it's basically 10 degrees from exact. And so what else did I write here? You can also see by this point the exact, the very tight Venus-Mars conjunction. That's an exact Venus-Mars conjunction at 17 Capricorn, and that's 10 degrees from Pluto. So this is the point around mid-February that the Venus-Mars-Pluto triple conjunction starts to really kick in, and it's there. I think I wrote the dates. Okay, yeah, it's like a month. From around February 15th to March 15th, we've got a Mars-Venus-Pluto triple conjunction, and it's all within 8 to 10 degrees during that time. And so, yeah, that's a really powerful alignment that it has to do with really fiery, passionate intimacy, really deep, fiery, intimate love relationships, and a lot of teachings around taking actions towards love, taking actions towards that which you're attracted to, and being open to the energies of attraction that are coming towards you, and dancing with those energies, creating art with those energies. It's a performing artist energy that also adds a kind of sexiness, and it's like art and nature coming together, dance and nature. Maybe it's like a rave out in the forest kind of energy. A rave out in the forest where people are, dressed in really sexy ways. That's what I feel. Is anybody going to that kind of rave? Let's see. Then what else did I put down here? There's some other things here that we'll see, but I want to go to the next big alignment that I want to focus on, which is February 27th. This is the next Venus gate, and you can see that it is in a tight quadruple conjunction. Oh, actually, I got to go the other direction here. This is when it rises over here. It's really like the 28th. Is that right? No. It's the 27th. Okay, got to go back a day. Okay, here it is. February 27th, 5:30 a.m. is, by then, everything's risen. You'll see the moon, Venus, and Mars in a triple conjunction within 1 degree. Put that on your calendar, everybody. That's a huge moment. February 27th. We're talking 1 month from now. So this is the big one that I want to encourage everybody out there. You know, if you're new to all of this and you just want somewhere to start to have more intimacy with the sky, February 27th is a great morning to get up an hour and a half early and go out to see a Moon-Venus-Mars triple conjunction. It will be very visible, and you got to imagine that Pluto is directly behind everything. And so, great moment for just meditating on whatever Moon Pluto's about, whatever Venus Pluto's about, whatever Mars Pluto's about. It's a deep one. It's about deep meditation and getting in touch with really deep energies that you're learning to channel, especially in your intimate relationships, certainly in sexual relationships. This could be a big moment of deepening and transforming in that area. And so, yes, this is definitely a season for lovers, everybody. And if you're not in love and connected to your sweetie, this could be a really good time to find that person. And so I hope everybody out there is available to more love in your life, whether that's self-love or it includes the deepening of love with a friend or a family member. But certainly, if you're looking for a partner, this is the kind of energy, waves of energy all spring, building to the amazing alignment of April 27th, when we're going to have a Moon-Venus-Jupiter-Neptune Quadruple Conjunction. It's like a sequence of love waves that you were trying to surf. If we catch each one of these waves every month, you get out there, you bring your surfboard, and you catch the love wave. It leads you onto the love timelines, and those timelines get stronger and stronger. And by the time we get to April, there could be something really happening. That's what I have to say right now. And so at the same time, here's the thing. When you go out to the Venus gates and you're aware of the whole sky, you will be able to see other things and be aware of other energies that are strong. This is if you want to add additional components to your sky communion practice. For those of you that are new, just go out and try to see the moon with Venus and, in this case, Mars. If you're a little bit further along in the astrology path, then you can also be aware that morning you'll be able to see a Mercury Saturn conjunction. If you stay up a little longer, let's see, it's not that long after, by, when is it? By 6 a.m., you'll see a Mercury Saturn conjunction. So that morning you'll be able to see 5 planets. How awesome is that? 5 planets and then the sunrise. That's an awesome morning for sky watching. I'm seeing it more and more right now. That will be a great one for silent meditation upon the sky, kind of stilling your mind, maybe kind of meditation where you're disciplining the mind to quiet down and to just be available to the amazing waves of consciousness that are coming from the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. By the time we get to the 27th of February, look at where Jupiter and Neptune are. They're 9 degrees from each other. And Jupiter is, or I should say the sun is just 5 degrees away from Jupiter. So this is a really big moment where the Jupiter-Neptune is really being activated. You got a lot going on with Venus, but you're also seeing that there's a lot going on with this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. So it's like, for those of you that are trying to tune into more kind of complex awareness of multiple alignments, tuning in to the Jupiter-Neptune on these mornings that you're going out to see the Venus gates will also be awesome. Being aware of Jupiter-Neptune, that has so much to do with positive states of consciousness, spiritual joy, again, big visions of your life going forward. I think it should be wonderful. This should be a wonderful morning for silent meditation, maybe while you're holding the hand of your Venus buddy. Silent meditation while you're holding the hand of your Venus buddy, and you're tuning into those positive consciousness waves that are expanding you further than you've gone before into broader visions of even more expansive possibilities of your spiritual path. That's what we're talking about. So that sounds good, doesn't it? February 27th, everybody. There we go. What's next? Now we're going to go to March 14th. That's the next date I want us to focus on. What's happening March 14th? Mercury is 10 degrees from Jupiter and 16 degrees from Neptune. So this is the moment when we start to get a Mercury-Jupiter-Neptune triple conjunction. And that is such a lovely alignment for things like studying astrology, studying tarot. It's a wonderful alignment for kind of opening your mind to expanded states of consciousness and spiritual downloads and all kinds of paranormal experiences. And so this will add to the sky watching, sky communion experience. And so, yes, this is just a date to start to tune into the Mercury-Jupiter-Neptune sequence, which, what did I write here? If we go to the 17th, this is a date I want us all to focus on as well. This is the full moon coming in, and it's a full moon when Mercury is 5 degrees from Jupiter and basically 10 degrees from Neptune. At the same time, the Sun is conjunct Neptune. That's 4 planets in Pisces lit up by the full moon. At the same time, Venus and Mars are in a tight conjunction, approaching Saturn. There's a lot going on. Can you see it? How much is happening this spring? I'm going to be doing more videos that'll focus on these individual alignments, but I want everybody to have the dates on their calendar, okay? What's next? Oh, by the way, on March 17th, I am hoping to offer some kind of class or workshop. I'm not quite sure yet. Something is going to happen with, yes, some kind of workshop or some kind of class. We'll see. Just want to name that that could happen on March 17th and the following Saturday and perhaps some other dates. Stay tuned here, and I'll also have a link to my mailing list down in the box below if you're interested in maybe going deeper with your captain here. Okay. What's next? What's next? This is the full moon, March 17th. March 21st, I put down here. And this is, yeah, you can just see at this point, it's a tight Mercury-Jupiter-Neptune quadruple conjunction where the sun is still lighting up that Neptune. It's not that far away. So this whole time period, March 17th through the 28th, by the 28th, the moon is coming back on Venus. This is the, what is this? What Venus gate is this? The third Venus gate, March 28th. Okay, this is another morning to wake up early. Let's go back here. By 5:15 a.m., Moon-Venus-Mars-Saturn all will be rising close to the horizon. This is for San Francisco. Of course, it could be different depending on where you are. But yes, that is 4 planets all visible that morning. And I want to see photographs of this one. Venus and Saturn and the moon and Mars all within 5 degrees. In this case, all in Aquarius. So we're starting to move into Aquarius season there at the end of March. And, oh, we're way out of, we're way past Aquarius season in terms of where the sun is. But it's still activating the Aquarian energy. So it's still, at that point, even though it's spring, there's this pretty dynamic alignment that involves Saturn. And so I'll do a specific video for this for sure. But that particular Venus gate is going to have something to do with, yeah, bringing in some real wisdom with regard to your intimate relationships, maybe like overcoming some kind of challenge, but by doing so, getting stronger, or where it's like you're really building something with your lover. You're really building something with your closest friend. That's something of that alignment, Moon-Venus-Mars-Saturn. We'll go deeper into that later, but be sure to get March 28th on your calendar and get up by 5 a.m. Get to where you're going by 5:15 a.m. Have that thermos ready, have those cameras ready. I think having a tripod is fantastic. I had my tripod out this morning and it made it much easier to get a good photograph. It was amazing to have the tripod set up and I could do long exposure, and yeah, I got some nice photos this morning and hopefully tomorrow as well. And that's the 28th of March. March 30th is the third Jupiter gate. Let's go forward to that. This is where you can see down here, you can see there's still a Venus-Mars-Saturn tight triple conjunction here. Venus is starting to move away from Saturn. Mars is still coming on to Saturn. But if we look, what time is it at? What time is it that morning? It's basically 6:30 a.m. You might be able to see a Moon-Jupiter conjunction with the moon, a real crescent. And this is really the first time we'll be able to see Jupiter in the morning sky. At that point, it's 20 degrees from the sun. So you'll definitely be able to see Jupiter in the morning sky. And this will be the moment where you greet Jupiter and you say, hey, it's so good to see you again. Haven't seen Jupiter since the evening sky. This week, you get to say goodbye to Jupiter in the evening sky with the Moon-Jupiter conjunction on Tuesday the 2nd. But by then, by March 30th, Jupiter will have moved to the morning sky and you get to say hello again after not being able to see them. And this is another big moment of the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction really coming in the morning sky consciousness. And so, yes, you can get up a little later this morning, but I still think you should get up by 5:30 so you can really be with Venus and Saturn and Mars. You don't get to see that very often. A really visible Venus-Mars-Saturn triple conjunction, that's kind of rare, and it's up in the sky for a long time. And then you get to see Moon and Jupiter rise that morning. Wow. Can't wait for March 30th. That's going to be amazing. And then, what else? Okay, this is when it starts to get interesting, everybody. I'm going to put up April 18th. And this one isn't so much a day you want to focus on if you're just going out once a month, which that's all you got to do, everybody. Just get up early once a month and go be with the morning sky. If you want to get up more than that, then awesome. But anyway, this is April 18th. You can see Venus is 10 degrees from Neptune, 11 degrees from Jupiter. Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, totally exact. By then it's full on. Spring is in the air. Lovers are dancing all over the place. That's what we're talking about by April 18th. And this is when it really starts to activate that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. And you can see the moon over here is moving towards that Jupiter-Venus-Neptune triple conjunction. And let's just go day by day. You can see at this point, Mars is not that far behind Venus. So if you get up early these mornings, you'll see Jupiter and Venus and Mars and Saturn. You'll also be able to see the moon. And so, yes, let's see, by the time the moon gets to Pluto here, you can see Venus is just 6 degrees from Neptune and 8 degrees from Jupiter. And then by the time moon gets to Saturn, Venus is 4 degrees and 6 degrees from the Jupiter-Neptune. And then here you get the Moon-Mars conjunction that morning of the 25th. And then the 26th is when things start to get really interesting. 5 planets in Pisces. And let's see, what time are you getting up? I think it's 5:30 a.m., everybody. You want to be at your spot. Well, by 5 that morning here in San Francisco, you'll be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 planets in the sky. Wow. 4 visible planets in Pisces. Those Pisces healing waters are really flowing by this point. So what are you going to do on April 26th, 27th, 28th? Where are you going to be? You get to choose the setting. You get to choose the people you're going to be with. You get to choose where you are. I highly recommend a vacation right here. I really think if you're due a vacation to someplace warm with healing waters, set your calendar for right about here, late April. If you can take at least 2 weeks, you deserve it. A 2-week vacation in late April and early May, I highly recommend that. It could be the whole month of May. You have to decide for yourself. But the more you can create space in your life where this energy is all about relaxation, experiencing the rich pleasures of life and the warm waters of life and the warm healing waves of heart chakra energy that you get to share with those you love, that's what we're talking about. And if you're working 70 hours a week this week, you're not going to have quite the mind state that can take advantage of the medicine that's available right then. It's a time for storing up medicine that could last you the rest of your life. Storing up medicine that certainly could last you the next 13 years until the next Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. So you want to plan to be available so you can really soak this energy in, ideally with some really fun, sweet people, okay? You writing it down? Are you committing to yourself? I think it's a good one to commit to yourself first, and then you commit to the sky next, and then I think it's good to have a buddy that you commit together with. You say it out loud. I commit to be somewhere, someplace yummy in late April and maybe all of May. I commit to myself to catch this once in a century wave towards warm tropical waters, if possible. Okay? All right. So let's just look. The 27th is the real Venus gate. Is that right? Wait a sec. Here's the 27th. Here's where you get Venus, the Moon, and Jupiter all within 3 degrees, and Neptune there, of course. And I'm really hoping that I'll get a chance to look for Neptune through binoculars. I think it's supposedly possible to see Neptune through binoculars. I've never seen Neptune magnified, as far as I can remember. And so that's one of my commitments that I'm saying to all of you. I'm going to find Neptune and see the blue light of Neptune, the blue planet. We're a blue planet, and so is Neptune. Lots of blue healing waters coming our way. And yes, if you haven't seen the moons of Jupiter, that's also something you can see through binoculars, and it's amazing. And maybe you could see the moons of Jupiter and Neptune with the right telescope. Gosh, I hope I get to see that. And Venus there, oh, it could be amazing. So this is easily as cool as planning for a solar eclipse and, traveling to a really good spot to enjoy it. Let's all do that together. Let's all set sail on this starship to the yummiest possible place to enjoy this with the yummiest possible people. Amen. Amen, right? Okay, let's do it. What else is here? I think we're getting real close to the last one. The last date that I'm going to put up here. I think it's, you can see by April 27th that Mars is just behind here. So we're moving into a Mars-Jupiter-Neptune alignment. As Venus moves off, Mars comes on, and Mars-Jupiter-Neptune, Mars just gives force to those healing waters. It energizes it, and it gives like the ultimate alignment for being a surfer of consciousness, a surfer who's learned to flow with these really amazing waters that are like once in our lifetime, once this century kind of waves. And so surfers of consciousness prepare to catch some really awesome waves this whole spring. And yes, let's just go to the last dates that I have here now. What did I do here? Through 5, 6. So yeah, like this, let's look at this range. So it's kind of like through May 6th. April 26th to May 6th is a really key window here. It continues. You can see that Venus is 5 degrees past Jupiter, 10 degrees past Neptune, but it's still definitely activating things, you know, to the 8th. It's a 2-week thing easily. But again, it's so rare and so potent. It's that whole month and it's the whole year. And it's like, you got to feel that the potency of this alignment is going to reverberate for the rest of your life and is going to impact the whole global consciousness. I feel like these alignments are really kind of like the yin healing complement to the extreme alignment of March, April 2020, when we had a Mars-Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto quadruple conjunction versus a Mars-Jupiter-Neptune-Venus quadruple conjunction with the moon going across it. It's like the healing balm that soothes the wounds of 2020 and 2021. And so how are you going to set yourself up to really take in this yummy medicine as we get into May? And then you can see that Mars is here. Mars, Jupiter, Neptune's really coming in there. And let's see. Yeah, this whole period, Mars, May 13th, 14th, 15th, 17th. The next Jupiter gate is here on May 24th and 25th. This is the next Jupiter gate. So at this point, Jupiter gates start happening before Venus gates. Moon-Jupiter conjunctions will start being visible before Moon-Venus conjunctions. And that starts to happen on the 24th and 25th of May. This will be another really beautiful one to see. You'll be able to see the moon and Mars and Jupiter right next to each other. You'll also still be able to see Venus there. You'll be able to see Saturn up above. So what an amazing time to start to be able to recognize the different planets, to start to understand where to look for them. That's what embodied astrology is all about. It's when you actually make contact with your eyes and you see each other. The planet sees you seeing them, and they're like, whoa, that being right there is seeing me and communicating with me. I'd like to deepen my relationship with this awesome sky watcher and pull them towards cool things that they wouldn't get to see without being friends with me. That's what it's about, making friends with these amazing, beautiful lights in the sky and getting to experience nature while you're doing it. The healing of nature, the healing of connecting with the sky, which is part of nature, and hopefully doing it in beautiful places where you're connecting also with the trees and the birds and the animals and the earth, the dirt. It's like this amazing potential for the earth and you being on the earth, making contact with these lights and becoming deeper friends and starting to receive direct messages from these beings and having your own unique experiences of what they mean to you and the amazing specific guidance that these great elders of the sky share with you when the moon opens the gate and you get to go in and have tea with them. And so with that, I want to say thank you for being on this starship with me. And we're going to have some awesome journeys all of 2022. There's cool stuff happening the rest of the year, of course. In September, October is when the Jupiter-Neptune comes back really tight, and there's planets opposite the Jupiter-Neptune. So another big wave happens, and Mars gets super bright. There's all kinds of cool things that are happening this year, and I'll keep checking in with you, doing the best I can to guide you through it all. And so thank you for following. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow me with my email list in the box below. But I want to be sure to say that some of this new approach to astrology just kind of came in organically for me in 2019. But then in 2020 and 2021, I started to become more aware of the school of shamanic astrology. And it's been like through diving more into that. And the two main teachers are Daniel Giamario and Kaylin Castell. Feel like the kind of yin-yang dyad that brought in some of this approach to astrology. And they, of course, have a lot of students and people that have learned from them. I know of Gemini Brett and Adam Gainsbourg, who I've started to look into, and my dear friend Marianella Bornicelli was really instrumental in kind of bringing this awareness to me. So I just want to name that. And I feel like the understanding of these Venus gates and Jupiter gates, but definitely the Venus gates, it's all about kind of opening to it and understanding it through relationships with others and conversations with others and kind of sharing our meditations with each other from our experiences with these conjunctions. And so I just wanted to name that yes, I've come into this kind of approach both through my own impulses, but now definitely through the support of others. So, okay, wanted to be sure to say that. Okay, love, 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 blessings.